Good morning, everyone. I hope you're keeping well, and I hope you're looking forward to this weekend and whatever you're going to be doing. It is a special weekend, and today, as we remember the cross, the death of our Lord Jesus on the cross on Good Friday, we also look forward with hope to Easter Sunday and his rising again. This is going to be the last of these devotions for a little while. I'm going to take a break from these in April. We have reached the end of Mark's Gospel, started back in January, and today we'll look at the last little passage. And it's been really good to share these passages with you, and to know people have been following along with that. And I hope it's been a blessing and an encouragement to you. I know that folks do it at particular times of day. Some folks do it in the morning, some in the evening, tea time. But I'd encourage you to keep that pattern up if you can. Keep on doing those devotions. Can I recommend to you the Tides devotions from PCI? You can get those from the PCI website, Presbyterian Church in Ireland website, by giving them your email details, and they will appear in your email inbox early in the morning. But also let me recommend to you a couple of other things. If you want to sit down and take time, maybe with family around the table or whatever, a couple of things. We've been using around the table with our family a book called Soul Fuel by Bear Grylls. Very simple, short devotions, but very hard-hitting. And Bear Grylls, of course, the famous explorer, who's also a Christian. So that book is very good. Another one by Tim Keller called My Rock, My Refuge, which takes you through the Psalms. One by Paul Tripp called New Morning Mercies. Again, really, really helpful. Very short devotionals, but very, very helpful ones. And lastly, this one here, which is called Through the Bible Through the Year. It's by John Stott. And again, short devotions, but very, very helpful and very insightful, taking us through the year. So if you have got into this pattern, I encourage you to keep on with the pattern and do these devotions. A reminder then, tonight at 7:30, we're having a service both in person and on the live stream for Good Friday, a short service of reflections and readings, and I hope you'll be able to join us for that either in the building or online. And then on Sunday morning, 11 o'clock, in person and live streaming again, and again remind you to obey all the protocols and regulations that we have in place to keep everybody safe. We're going to read from Mark chapter 16 and verses 1 to 8, and let me read it for you now. When the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome bought spices so that they might go and anoint him. And very early on the first day of the week, when the sun had risen, they went to the tomb. And they were saying to one another, "Who will roll away the stone for us from the entrance of the tomb?" And looking up, they saw that the stone had been rolled back. It was very large. Entering the tomb, they saw a young man sitting on the right side, dressed in a white robe, and they were alarmed. And he said to them, "Do not be alarmed. You seek Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He has risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. But go, tell his disciples and Peter that he is going before you to Galilee. There you will see him, just as he said." And they went out and fled from the tomb, for trembling and astonishment had seized them, and they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid. There's something immediate and very striking about the way Mark's Gospel ends, and most people believe it does end there at verse 8. Those verses 9 to 20 are a later addition, most folks now understand. So there's something immediate and striking about the way it ends there at verse 8. There is no upper room appearance. There are no Emmaus Road conversations, no breakfasts by the shore of Galilee. All those things are hinted at, but we don't actually see them happen. Instead, what we see are people fleeing the scene in trembling and astonishment and fear. That's what we see at the end of Mark's Gospel. And enough people thought that ending was inadequate that they added on verses 9 to 20 to make it a little bit softer. But stopping at verse 8 confronts us with a reality and with a question. The reality it confronts us with is this: the world has changed irrevocably. If Jesus is alive, nothing is the same again. Nothing. Your whole life, all of human history, must be seen differently because of this one event. If Jesus is alive, the history of the world is a different story than it was. And your life is different. It's no wonder that there's fear and astonishment in these women, because if what the angel says is true, their lives have just been totally turned upside down. That's the reality. That has happened. Our lives have been turned upside down by the resurrection. But there's a question here as well. And the question Mark asks us at the end is, what would you have done? What would you have done in the women's place? What's your response to the angel's message? He's not here, he has risen. He was crucified for you. We've been through that these last few days, and we've walked that path with him. He went that way for you. He emptied himself for you. He suffered and died for you. But he is not dead. The tomb is empty. The grave has been broken apart. He has risen. See for yourself. Read the passages around the resurrection again. Weigh up the evidence before you. Understand that his resurrection makes all the difference in the world. And then go and share that message. The women were told by Mark, didn't say anything to anyone because they were afraid. Eventually their fear eased, and they did go and speak to people. But for us now, the challenge is the same. We have a message to share which changes everything for everyone, which indeed changes the whole way we respond to and react to the coronavirus pandemic even. Because we know that Jesus' resurrection changes even that. And that we can look forward to a day without illness, without disease, without sorrow, without death. Because the message is that death has been defeated forever. The grave has lost its victory. Death has lost its sting. That's what we celebrate. That's why we celebrate. This is the good news of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. God bless.